Hello, everyone. Welcome to CXO Spice. CXO Spice is a platform for thought leaders to share their point of view on innovation and explain how to make it happen in real world. Today's topic is Integrative AI. Our special guest is Miguel Machado, founder and CEO at KeenFolks. Welcome to CXO Spice, Miguel.
Thank you very much, Ellen. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, likewise. So before we dive into our discussion, could you share your journey from working in corporate environment to becoming an entrepreneur? And then what made you to start KeenFolks?
Sure, fantastic. Thank you very much. So I had, I started my career in corporate world. I've been in multinationals in CPG and a top multinational for more than 10 years. There I did all kinds of roles like sales, marketing, business as well in terms of management. And more or less in 2008, okay, I got a very strong call from the startup world. So there I start engaging with different startups in leadership roles. Some of them went really well, others not so well, but it was a very, very strong curve of experience that led me finally to get into the services industry and especially to the agency side. And where I've been in one agency, starting a model. No, I had this model of digital transformation end to end, and I've been there for 2 years. I got to more or less 30% of the turnover that I could manage to bring to the company. I closed very important multinationals like Repsol or Telefonica, and that was the moment where I met my co-founder at KeenFolks, that is Xavi. So his background is slightly different than mine, but we had the same values and we had the same orientation, a very strong focus in business, a very strong focus in consumer understanding. And I was more in the part of the digital and transformation, and he was more in the part of the creative side of it, and UX. So it was a perfect merger. So we had actually the same client. We shared the same client in different perspectives. There was MSD, Merck Pharmaceuticals. And at that moment, there was this amazing opportunity to run a global project, and that was the ignition. So that was the moment that we really saw the signs. We saw the opportunity in the market, and we said, okay, there is a need to bring something different to the agencies and consultancy world. And I think that we have a very strong key in order to make the difference. So that was the ignition.
Wonderful. Having the right partnership is half the success. Right? Before we talk about your success, though, I wanted to ask you about integrative AI. Right? You and Xavi talk about this quite a bit. What does that really mean to those who are new to AI?
Yes. So AI is one of the things that really distinguish KeenFolks. So since the beginning, we start the vision of the company with the idea of becoming an AI-first company. And that means full automation of our processes and build up models that helps to automate and get more efficiency and impact on sales for our clients. So this we've been building several projects along the lines in the last 5 years. And with the birth of the impact of AI this year, with the ChatGPT and Bard and Google and Microsoft and all the generative AI tools that there is in the market today, obviously all the companies are questioning themselves what to do with this technology. And we have a clear frame. So integrative AI responds to that call. So what we do with integrative AI is actually connecting our services that are end-to-end services, consultancy, marketing agency, and tech development, right? We connect all of this with generative AI and language models like ChatGPT and Bard. And on top of that, we develop for our clients their proprietary algorithms, their proprietary technology, their proprietary data sets that will help them to become leaders in AI in their sector. And through that, get more efficiency and higher impact on sales.
That's amazing. I really learned recently that you have managed to expand your presence to over 40 markets in just 4 years. So what were the key factors that contributed to KeenFolks' rapid growth?
Well, I think that there are like three things that clearly distinguish us in the market. The first thing is the way of thinking, our way of thinking, that it's absolutely different. So it's like we think based on a consultancy, okay, like the thinking of a consultancy, but then we work on the execution part, like a marketing agency. And we connect that with the technology acumen and the technology capacity to build the two things. Now, both from the strategy side and the execution side. So it's a mixture on the way that we think. In the way that we work, okay, we connect these three dots with another cover, okay, and with another prisma. And this prisma is based our deployment model. Our deployment model is very focused on global thinking on the headquarter level, and then a very strong connection with the regional areas, okay, like Europe or North America or APAC, and then the local markets. And this is something that it's very, very differential at KeenFolks. I remember that in the first year, we did 500,000 miles traveling because of this model, because we wanted to deploy a global project with Merck, and we needed to make it purposeful for the countries, to connect the headquarters with the local markets. And that's where it borns. It borns this methodology that where we can actually bring the headquarters strategy to the local markets and make them feel, okay, that it's their own initiatives. And this is such a big problem in multinationals that touches a little bit everywhere. So in a nutshell, what makes us really different is this capacity to connect business and technology in a purposeful way by connecting people. And make projects not only in the paper or not only in the strategy side, but be able to execute it at scale in more than 50 markets now that we operate from Barcelona, Mexico, and New York.
Well, that's very well said, right? I know that's easy to be said than done, but the example of Merck is really a testament of your dedication to your customer and your ability to turn idea into execution and then driving the long-term success for your customers. Congratulations. So you talked a little bit about what really sets KeenFolks apart from other players in the market when it comes to understanding the unique challenges and opportunities, especially faced by today's CXO in the new business landscape.
Yes. So I think that the first thing that sets us apart is the fact that we own a special methodology that is connected with this new category that we introduced to the market, that is Integrative AI. So we own a methodology of 7 steps where we actually are able to connect with the clients and go with them, okay, run these amazing workshops. Like, for example, last week I've been in a global workshop with a top multinational as well, where we can connect the teams from marketing side, understand their use cases, their expectations, the priorities of the company, and then go to the tech side and understand what is the MarTech stack, where are the processes that they have, how they use the data, and then how you connect all of that in favor of the customer, of the client, of the consumer. So, and I think that in that moment is really magic. So we always start there. We always start with an audit, with the understanding and the connection between business and technology. And then we deploy, of course, we help to deploy a vision, a strategy that connects in a purposeful way in order to facilitate the execution. And this is what we've been doing. So that part is clearly a part that sets us apart with a very strong process based on Integrative AI. And what it enables 3 big properties in terms of artificial intelligence. First, a clear understanding where the operation is. So from a descriptive point of view. So connecting all the data sources at one and make it easy to actually have identified what is the operation, what are the indicators, and what is the performance. Second, predictive. No? And in the predictive field, try to understand what's going to be the reality in the months or years to come, considering the different variables and the data sets of the business. And finally, very important, prescriptive, that it's not only about actually seeing it, but we have artificial intelligence that help us on the decision process. And this is something that we've been doing for some years now with many clients. On top of that, now we have a facilitator. Okay, and the facilitator is that all the clients and the Fortune 500 clients that we have are emerging with a specific need. And the specific need and the big question that they have is, how do I integrate generative AI and these new language models like ChatGPT on my operation? And this obviously is something that distinguishes in a significant way, because while everybody's trying to figure it out today, how to do it, we've been doing that for the last 5 years. So this is a very, very important point of differentiation. The second point, I would touch back base in the capacity to connect the global headquarter with the regional business and the local areas in order to guarantee the fulfillment and the complete execution of the projects. This is something that is fundamental for us. And third part that is for us very dear and very important is people. So when we decided actually to bring KeenFolks to life, it was based on this idea of human potential. So we want to actually steer the growth of our team. And that's why we are so eager to identify very young talent that can emerge to very significant positions. So we are really, really proud of the more than 100 people that works with us that are really, really, really top talent. So when you want to think about a consultancy agency, tech enabler that operates in the market and that owns extraordinary talent, this is KeenFolks.
That's wonderful to hear. Congrats. Who are the typical persona you work with? Is it marketing, procurement, or tell us a little bit more?
Yes, amazing. So our typical client is C-level. So this is our typical client. So CEOs, CMOs, CTOs. So these are somehow the ones that connect better with the vision, to unify, with the capacity to steer and destroy silos within the organization. And finally, with the capacity to agglutinate the people around one idea. So this is our perfect stakeholder. But that said, we also work with global directors now. We work with VPs, and all of them very successfully because we partner with them in order to steer it. And if it's necessary, we also pitch to the C-level to guarantee that we actually enable the project to become a reality. So this is more or less the type of profiles, both in the business side and on the tech side. Senior profiles at the top level or at the mid-level in terms of management.
Amazing. So let's talk about Team Circle, right? That's an exclusive community powered by NFT. How does this community contribute to the overall vision and mission of KeenFolks? Well, before you answer, I'll let you explain what NFT is.
Yes. Well, let me start by that. Fantastic. So non-fungible token means that there is a digital property that there is no value that is established. That can be $1 or $1,000, depending on the value that we as a community attribute to it. So that comes from the difference with different tokens, and especially in cryptocurrency, where you have, of course, a specific value by unit. No, the properties of NFTs that somehow this can be enabled in so many different situations, in art, in collections. No, so in this case, our NFT enables the community. So it's like a passport, okay, and your photo profile. Of an access to a community of VPs, CMOs, C-level people, entrepreneurs, okay, thoughtful leaders, all united with one clear objective: to guarantee that they can connect with the best in terms of innovation, means blockchain and artificial intelligence, in order to create new projects and new ideas that can foster the economy. Mm-hmm. So this is basically, in a nutshell, KeenCircle. It's born from an idea, and the idea is that we, since the beginning as a company, we always had this philosophy of open source, where we connect with thoughtful leaders since the beginning, mm-hmm. okay, based on common values, always to do something and to go the extra mile, right? And I think that in the moment that we launched last year event, a very important event that it's called Limitless, and we brought thoughtful leaders to speak at the event, and we unite all these people, it was a magic moment. And we said, we cannot lose this afterwards. Mm-hmm. So we need to guarantee that this community that we've been gathering for so long, and now we have more than 500 people connected, can have an instrument of connection. And the NFT allows that. So through the NFT, we organize events. We guarantee that there is easy access to funding of new ideas, to the right person. Each one of the members can connect by themselves. We give training. So there is a course, actually an easy and fast course on blockchain and artificial intelligence, and all of that to empower the community and to make it easier to actually acknowledge all these new technologies in a very fast pace.
That's interesting. I gotta check it out. Hopefully I'm qualified to join as well.
Well, you are more than qualified. You already participated in even in Bridge the Digital Gap with us, and we are so happy to have you. And of course you are.
Yeah, thank you. And what trends do you see emerging in the field of tech, AI, and marketing, right? You touched all these three fields earlier. And how do you envision KeenFolks staying ahead of these trends and continuing to innovate?
I would say that the first big trend is obviously generative AI, is what everybody is talking about. No? So how I can use all these different technologies, in order to obviously help me to identify new insights, help me to think it over, help me to get alternatives to cook, help me to make my life easier, in a nutshell. And I think that is an area that is going to explode. In 2030, it's estimated that there's going to be like more than $15.7 trillion dollars invested in the area, because it's really a game changer, and it's a game changer in so many fields that will allow us to change the way that we work, the way that we live, and the way that we interact between each other. So I think that one is the first one. The second one, I think that it's very connected with automation. So there are a lot of things in life that we actually don't like how to do, or to do it. Let's put it like that. And I really consider that in one day there is going to be in our possibilities to create products of ourselves, because I think that's an amazing idea, because products that can replicate our day-to-day and say, the things that I don't want, as Miguel, the machine will do. And this is something that obviously is like the vision ahead, but today there is already a lot of passes that can help us on to do that. And this as individuals, but also as a companies. And I think that this is something that we are working in a very active manner in order to facilitate all these repetitive tasks that don't add any value. Then the third, I would say, trend is collaborative AI. I think that in a moment that we talk a lot about the dangers and the way that we're going to act with AI, I think that collaborative AI is a very important trend for us. We need to train ourselves, and we need to be prepared to explore all these possibilities of these new tools in order to empower ourselves and in order to collaborate in a way that is very meaningful for our life and for the things that we produce, that we create. And I think that the next, I would say, month ahead, not years, months ahead, we're going to see a lot of that, a lot of tutorials, a lot of didactic, a lot of universities coming to field and say, okay, I'm also there, no, and trying to connect with this game-changing technology that will change and empower us in so many ways. I think this is definitely the trends that I see that are the more significant right now.
Yeah, it's exciting time, right? It's not only just AI, it's the convergence of AI with many other technologies, and then the power of it to enable us to do things it was never even imaginable in the past. So just really exciting time. So Miguel, as a thought leader in the industry, what advice would you give to the CXOs or decision makers who are looking to drive innovation within their own organizations?
Well, I think that the first one that I would recommend is clearly to foster a culture of experimentation. So this is something that we, since the beginning, we implemented in the company. And it's very also inspired by other successful companies. So we said, we put even in our key performance indicator, the number of testings that we need to have in each one of the areas of the company. No? So this idea of experimentation is what allowed us today to be prepared to launch even new products, our own products and platforms to the market based on new technology. So because we've been all these 5 years working, experimenting, and investing in research and development to be ready to it. So I would say that the first one is clearly that one. The second one is to prioritize a culture of collaboration, and that is a fundamental. Okay, so and there I'm a fan of Ray Dalio. I think that Ray Dalio is I mean, he has these amazing books on his principles of life, and he talks about openness, no, and radical honesty, and the way that somehow we should act between each other. And this is what we try to do since the beginning in KeenFolks, to have this open mind collaboration with everybody, to be able to share ideas and to challenge. We said since the beginning, one of the values was challenge everything. So that means that we are enablers of challenge. And that enables a different type of collaboration. There is a more open collaboration to the change, a more open collaboration to free spirit. And definitely this is something that I would recommend. And then the third part is also very connected with, I would say, innovation. From innovation, I would say it's extremely important to stay ahead of the technologies. So we even have like an area that it's called Radar, where we just experiment new tools, new technologies, new platforms, things that are coming to the market, because we want to be the first. And we want to understand how we can actually leverage on these novel tools in order to improve our processes, our day-to-day, and finally our productivity and the services to the clients. So in a nutshell, culture of experimentation, collaboration, there is an amazing factor of evolution. And finally, the third one, that would be the capacity to stay ahead every day.
Yeah, thank you, Miguel. What are the latest new products you've developed you can share with us?
Yes. Oh, thank you very much, Alan. So we are launching Scoritize. Scoritize vision is to automatize all agencies and consultancies operation, connecting all the part of the reporting, the sales pitch, the capacity to actually open new business and automatize all the presentations, and finally the part of execution in terms of how you actually manage an account in a day-to-day basis. So we are now in beta version, so we are launching now Scoritize to the market, and there is already a strong line of agencies that are interested in the technology, because it's a very important tool for them to get more efficiencies and finally to be more successfully in their sales as well. So we are very excited with this new platform, Scoritize.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? You can actually tie innovation, turn innovation into tangible product or result. So congrats on making that happen. Here it comes to my last question. What are your thoughts on the future of AI and its potential impact on businesses and society as a whole?
Well, I'm very optimistic. I think that there is obviously a very strong discussion, and I would say it's very polarized, between obviously people that and thinkers, that consider that AI obviously has dangers and should be regulated. I applaud actually the regulation that just came out from European Union, because I think that it's very important. I think that it's the first time that I see technology coming in and a clear regulatory field coming in at the same time to put some boundaries. And I think this is what is needed. So to this part that it's somehow that can think on the technology as something that can be negative, I would say that it all depends on us. And I think that in this case, we are users and we are developers, and we should obviously work with ethics. I think that when we didn't have a car, when the first cars just came in, the question could be somehow put on the table as well. How are we going to use the cars? And you can use cars obviously for bad things and for good things. And normally there is an ethics, there is a training, there is an education to be made. So I'm very optimistic. I think that the next years to come is going to be years of acceleration that we never thought that we would be able to do it in so many fields, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of enablement, in terms of equality. I think that all of these things can be achieved through artificial intelligence, and not only artificial intelligence, because you are absolutely right with your comment, Ellen. Yeah. The truth is that we live in a moment of foundational technology emergence. So I see Internet of Things, I see obviously the 5G and the next generations, I see the security, and I see the blockchain, and all of this somehow is in a tipping point. So I'm very optimistic with the things that will come ahead and the way that they will impact our lives, but also the society in generally, and obviously the business.
Yeah, I share that point of view in general, Miguel. My biggest fear is not that AI will take over from us. It is human becomes more like machine, losing that empathy, losing that connection with each other, right? Hopefully we never get to that point. But thank you so much, Miguel, for sharing your journey and the thought leadership with us today. I find it very meaningful, and congratulations on turning KeenFolks to an award-winning global integrative AI agency that connects business, marketing, and technology to deliver efficiency and growth at scale to Fortune 500 companies. Here are the really sweet things that stood out, right, for me from our conversation. The three advice you give it to CXOs looking to drive innovation. Number one is foster a culture of experimentation. You actually benefit, or KeenFolks benefit from that, and the first Scoritize, a new product generated from that experimentation. And then secondly is prioritize collaboration and cross-functional partnership, creating that opportunity for different teams collaborate. And sometimes you reach out to external partners to help you identify ideas and really foster innovation. And thirdly, you talk about stay ahead of the technology. So you always keep a pulse on emerging technologies such as AI, blockchain, IoT, and assess how these technologies can be applied to the business. And then you also mentioned about continuous learning. That's really crucial to today's environment. So thank you so much, KeenFolks, for transforming marketing from good into greatness, leveraging generative AI, right, or we're calling integrative AI as a methodology. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Stay hungry, stay bold, and stay grateful.